Sound check, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
And he knows as soon as he gives it to her, he's gonna give her his heart to her too.
And we'll have kids and get married. That's too far.
Holy shit.
It is the 22nd of December, 2022. I think that's right. Yeah, hi, my name is Corey Winfield.
My name's Marty Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast, the one that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah?
Driving.
On the road.
On the road. I remember back in the day, like, I think I talked to Rob about it, and Matt, and even Ryan Beckman, and Chris Goss. I was like, man, we need to, like, just get in the car and just drive. And, like, then, though, we just had, like, an old school laptop that sounded like a airplane taking off. Like, when you fired it up, it's really ridiculous. But now technology has changed so much. Like, we have these USB mics, and we used them from the Lions game, and I don't know, I was, like, yelling a lot because it was so loud in there, and I don't know, I went and listened to a little bit of it, and it didn't sound all that great. So I don't know if this is going to sound all that great, if it's picking up the car noise, but
At least we're doing it.
yeah, we're doing it. We're driving. I mean, it's supposed to make a little bit of car noise, right, if we're in the car?
Right, it's supposed to set the scene of the whole thing.
Yeah, and we are in Michigan, northern Michigan, and we're driving all over the state right now. But the reason why we hit the road so early today is because we're trying to beat the storm.
Yeah, the storms are brewing.
There's a big
Supposedly.
old storm a-coming.
Yeah.
And not that I'm afraid of storms, because I'm a pretty good driver, but other people, I don't trust them.
Right.
You know, if it was just me on the road, I'll drive, whatever, man. I don't need visibility.
See,
got Jesus.
I'm not a fan of black ice or ice of any kind or no visibility or whenever I do the whole, like, feeding on other people's anxiety stuff. So, like, if people are driving ridiculous, it makes me more anxious. Or if I see people off the road, I'm pretty much like, that's determining. I'm like, oh no, this is go off the road weather.
Just give them the Corey.
No, I don't. I meant off the road, like in a ditch.
Yeah.
So why would I give those people the Corey?
I don't know, because they were driving bad, maybe? Or I don't know, but sometimes that black ice will get you and you'll spin around. You'll be like, what just happened?
Yep.
So,
I know very well about that.
It can be pretty scary. So if you are traveling and you're in Michigan, hey, just be careful. You know, take some back roads if you need to, but just don't be an idiot. You know, turn your lights on. Make sure your blinkers are working. Your brake lights are working.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. I had to go through the 217 mobile and change some lights to make sure we're all good to go.
Yeah.
Don't want Johnny Law out there pulling us over, but more importantly, I want to let people know I'm turning and stopping, you know.
It's so crazy, though, because, like, you would not know anything about there being bad weather coming. It's clear.
If you just, like, woke up and didn't have a
you
phone or news or anything.
If you had no sort of, like, news or any sort of expectation that this is supposedly on its way, you'd have no clue.
Yeah, because, I mean, right now I don't know when we're going to publish this, but right now it's 8:24 in the morning.
Right.
And, yeah, roads clear. I mean, I think we're making a great decision. I know your mom wanted us to actually go over to her house today because she ordered a special cake and is a big fan of cake that I am. I just would rather make it safely to our destination.
Yeah.
And I think you were kind of in the mindset of that as well. And I know your mom was kind of sad we're not going to eat her cake, but we can always have cake with her later.
Right, for sure.
You know, like, cake is one of those foods that you can put in the fridge.
It's true.
You know, if she really wants us to eat that cake, we can just have it later.
And we're going to make it back and do an after Christmas anyway. So
Yeah.
That's all good.
Yeah, we got a lot of Christmas coming up.
We do.
Like today, like, we're leaving early because, like I said, we were going to maybe leave tomorrow. But tomorrow, we're going to have Christmas with my father and my stepmom and my stepbrother. And who else? No, I don't know who else is going to be there. And then on Christmas Eve, we're going to do with my mom, you know, and little brother and stepdad and stuff like that. And then on Christmas Day, we're going to go to my grandma's house and we're gonna go over there, and it's gonna be more family, more fun, and then the after Christmas, that's when we got your family. So we're trying to figure out, like, well, Christmas, do we come back? I think a lot of that, because you asked me yesterday, when are we coming back? And I'm like, I don't know. I think the roads will kind of determine kind of that. And, you know, but yeah, then the 26th and then 27th, we have other important stuff to do. Like, this is a weird Christmas because it seems like real life is going to jump right back in right after Christmas.
It is. It's not even going to, like, it's going to be like celebrate, enjoy yourselves, and then it's going to be like back to the grindstone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not without even batting an eye. I can already feel it.
Yeah, it's like, wow, I can't believe Christmas came and went.
Yep.
Because, like, if Christmas is on, like, a Friday or Thursday, you know, you get the whole weekend and you're just kind of lollygagging around. But when it's on a Sunday, it's like, okay, I wonder a lot of people if they have Monday off.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have Monday off of work.
Oh.
Which is nice. I mean, not actually our program because we don't ever have really days off, but, I mean.
I'm off till the 28th.
Are you?
Yeah.
Did you put that request in?
Yep.
Time off request?
Yep.
Okay, that's
I approved it.
You approved it.
I did.
That's good.
I made that decision. Because sometimes you have to do that, you know, because there was a guy that was like, oh, I need transportation. And that's what we do. You know, we help people get to and from treatment. And it was one of those things that would have put me in such a behind the eight ball, you know, like it would have put me so far behind kind of, and I wouldn't have had a day to like plan to get ready and make this trip. And, you know, we had to see, you know, we already kind of did some Christmas already. Mm-hmm. Your sister was in town. Fortunately, we were supposed to go to your father's in Ann Arbor, but COVID's happened, so we decided not to do that. So, I don't know, like, it could be overwhelming sometimes. So make sure you just take time for yourself and don't let other people put you in situations that you don't want to do. You know, because then that builds resentment. It's like if I would have been like, all right, man, I'm going to drop everything I'm doing to make sure this guy gets home. And I mean, in a nice world, okay, sure, that would have worked out perfect. But I know it would have made me feel some kind of way. And it would have, like, put extra stress on me that I really don't need right now. And
then when you're stressed, then it puts stress on me.
Yeah.
So then it's this vicious circle.
Yeah. And then, it's just not good. So I'm glad that I made that decision and that choice, and that person's in a safe spot right now. And you know, it wasn't like he was like he had no other options or whatever, you know, it just
right. And this brings up the whole thing about like making boundaries for yourself and like basically being okay to say no to things or like let me think about it, you know, because you don't have to be a yes person. If you're a yes person, you'll run yourself to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's okay.
And then your recovery's at risk. And so.
Yeah, and you can say no. A lot of people have a hard time with that. I was just talking with somebody about that the other day, and he said that was his problem is like when people ask, even for a cigarette, he's always giving one. You know, and I was actually taking the treatment. I told him, I was like, man, like, when you go into treatment like that, like, when I went to treatment last time, I didn't have any money, really, you know, and I didn't have cigarettes to be just handing out to people. We just passed a cop and Marnie pointed at him. So we waved. I'm only going 5 over the speed limit.
Are you, though?
I am.
Just
I'm
saying
going
that.
80. The speed limit is 75. So that's not bad. And I think since my tire may be a little low on air, no, they're all 38. I think I'm a mile an hour under. So I really think I'm going 79. So I should bump it up to I'm going 81. So I'm really going 80.
Christmas caps.
Well, yeah.
Who does that?
What?
Giving out tickets on Christmas.
Cops?
I know.
Because especially that's a state guy. They have quota. They have to give so many tickets.
Yeah, and they're like travelers who are running late. I'm on it.
But most of the state cops, though, this is just FYI, they like to hit that at the beginning of the month, so they're not trying to catch up at the end of the month. So a lot of people think, oh, it's the end of the month, they're out for you. They're really kind of out for you at the beginning of the month.
Well, I think just them putting, if they just put cop cars with no cops in it, just set them there and parked it and left it there, that would probably be super effective.
Well, they used to do that. They put the dummy cops in there.
I know, they did that in our hometown for a while until we figured it out. But yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure what I was talking about. But self-care, saying no, stuff like that. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, though, at the end of the day. And don't run yourself ragged. And I'm not saying don't help other people out and don't do things for other people. I'm just saying, like, you have to make sure that you're good and that you're able to do that. You know, if somebody's asking you for money, you know, like a friend of ours, you know, well, someone we know was asking people all over Facebook for money, you know, and for me, that's a huge red flag. You know, people have asked me for money on Facebook before, and I'm just like, no, man, like, I don't give money that way.
No.
And then this person started asking my mom for money, and this person doesn't even know my mom like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of sad, and like I said, red flags, but word on the street, that person's in treatment now, and hopefully they're getting the help that they need. But, you know, definitely if someone hits you up on Facebook and, oh, I need money for rent, or I need a pack of smokes, you know, call up the gas station that they say they're going to get the smokes from and ask them how much a pack of smokes is and give them that exact amount. You know, like, it's funny how somebody always needs $30 or $40 for a pack of smokes, and I'm like, well, no,
Right.
pack of smokes aren't that much, and actually you don't need a pack of smokes. Like, you can do without. You're going to live.
Right.
You know, I remember I used to smoke. I've been out of smokes before. Never hit up people on Facebook. Hey, man, can I give some smokes?
Right.
Never did that. And it just seems like, you know, other drugs are what they're really kind of after. And that's always my thinking behind that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I used to do that all the time I would ask for my dad for, like, money for tampons because he's not going to say no to that when I just wanted booze, you know?
Mm-hmm. I thought you said that you used to do that on Facebook.
No, I've never once asked anybody for money on Facebook. It's very impersonal. And it's like, I just feel like I'm thinking of people just like sitting on their phone, just clicking, and it doesn't even matter. They get in the zone of like, they don't even remember who they've asked. They're just cutting and pasting like the requests. It's not personalized. It's just like, this is a numbers game. If I can get one person to get me back with my $30, then I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And that's just really sad because that's just totally taking advantage and using people and for terrible purposes. And a lot of us kind of have caught on to that, you know.
Well, there was one guy that, when I was in Sober Living, when I was managing the house in Boyne City, he was giving this woman like all kinds of money, and he didn't even have all kinds of money, but like the little money he had, he would like give it to her because she would ask for it. And I asked him one time, like, why are you giving this person? Well, you don't even know this person. Well, she asked for it. And I was like, so I can start asking you for money and you just give it to me? And he laughed, but I really thought about asking him, like, hey, man, like, if you just give money away, you know, we need some new microphones. And, like, I don't know.
That's terrible.
It's not terrible. I'm just being honest. I did think about it, but I didn't do it. Because, I mean, it's kind of stupidity, you know? It's like, dude, like, why are you doing this? And then he was just bitching the whole time about how broke he was. And I'm like, well, you just gave this woman money. You don't even know if that's a woman.
Right?
Like, how many times have I gotten friend requests from somebody and this guy got big boobs in the picture, and I'm like, okay, I doubt I know this person. So I'll click on it, and I'll scroll down, and there's always, like, some African kids in there.
Oh
like, I'm like, they're not even hiding it very well. Like it's happened. Has it probably not happened to you, but
no.
There's guys out there going, yup, yup, Corey, I know what you're talking about. You know, you got to actually screen people nowadays. You know, before, back in the day, man, I'd add somebody on Facebook. I'm like, sure, I probably know that person. But now I'm like,
yeah, I don't really do that either.
Not everybody can be my friend on Facebook. But if you're real, or at least have a really good fake Facebook without African kids dancing in the background. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what country these people are from. But so, like, that dude was probably giving money to somebody who was not even in this country.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should, like... I'm not saying we, I'm just saying. But, like, we should target, like, countries and just, hi, my name's whatever.
No, absolutely not.
Help me. Like, give it back to them, you know? Like, these third world countries, you know, let's start asking them, hey, can I get 25 cents?
There's swindlers and cheaters and liars and all over the place, all over the world.
If we can get 25 cents from every tribe member, just saying. Just saying. It was on my mind. That's why. Would I do it? I don't think so. I don't have time.
No, you wouldn't.
To be trying to get 25 cents from a bunch of people. Nah. Because they probably wouldn't even. I mean, to them, that's probably a lot of money. I mean, to me, that's a lot of money sometimes. But I was listening to a podcast yesterday, the Stone Soup Recovery Podcast with my friend Adam. He hosts it, and they're doing a good job, man, of keeping up with their episodes and doing what they're supposed to be doing. And they were talking about triggers and the holidays and stuff like that. And Adam was talking about, the triggers are everywhere for people, and if you're, depending on where you're at in your recovery, it can be very detrimental, because like he was saying, if he has like a Jolly Rancher, like a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher, it just throws him back into, because he used to like mix some nasty stuff in with a Powerade, and I don't know how that would taste like a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher, but in his mind it did. So he stays away from those Jolly Ranchers because it just brings him back to that place. And I know for me, there's a lot of smells that'll bring me back to that, and it's like, okay, in different people, different places, different roads that you drive on sometimes, like we're going back to some stomping grounds of mine, and like I'm good now, but like early on, I remember avoiding these places, like there's a liquor store that I used to go to, and it's kind of embarrassing, really, because the times I went in there would just change in my hand trying to get enough or whatever. But I used to like not drive by that. I used to make sure I would go all the way around so I wouldn't have to drive by it, just because like that's what I felt like I had to do, Now I'm good, I got my 4 years last week, so I got a little over 4 years now.
Yes, you do.
Which is very nice. It's nice. You got me a nice, cool coin.
I did.
I appreciate that. I sent my mom her coin. She got it right on my 4-year anniversary day, too, so that was exciting. I mailed it right on time. Thanks to the post office for hooking that up, doing their job. I appreciate those people sometimes. But the family thing, though, it can be tough for people, and that can be a trigger. I'm just going to share a story, though, real quick, because I know you got a meeting that you got to catch. I know we're in the car, but she really does. And there was a Christmas, it was 2015, because I moved back home in August, and I was like white knuckling it. I wasn't going to meetings. I was really trying to kind of hide the fact that I almost died, and then I had a drinking problem, that I went to California for rehab. I was trying to hide all of that, and I moved back to Benton Harbor, or back to Southwest Michigan, and I didn't tell the radio station anything. I just told them, no, I don't drink, So I was white knuckling it, and everything in my life was falling apart. The station that I worked for, the radio station, I realized like what a scam it was and how I was bamboozled, because they told me all these bonuses that I was going to get, and then I realized I'm not going to get them, and nobody in like the last 8 years had gotten a bonus, because they can move money around to make you not get a bonus. And I started looking, like digging up facts and going, oh my God, like these guys straight up lied to me. And then I already knew that they were kind of dumb people, and they just weren't good people at all. And I was going through this depression, and I didn't know what to do about that. And here comes Christmas. And I was having a hard time, missed my grandma, and my stepdad or my mom, somebody wanted me to find the CD that I made for my grandma. When my grandma passed, I made this like tribute CD kind of, because I used to prank her on the radio, and then just to hear her voice again, and they wanted to play that. And I remember going down to the basement at my brother's house to go give that to my dad, to say, hey, here you go, if you want to play this for Mom. And everybody had this oh shit look on their face. My uncle was down there, my brother, my stepdad, they had beers. And they looked at me and they're like, oh no. Like it was like deer in the headlights, like they didn't know what to do. And it made me feel really, really awkward. It was just awkward. And I ended up going to get a bottle, and I kept it in my trunk. And then I remember going back over there and just like kind of waiting. I think that's actually Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day we did the other thing, and that's when I got the bottle and kind of was like, I'm drinking, and we went from my grandma's back to my mom's, and everybody was supposed to meet up there to have another like end of Christmas, and everybody was late, and I was getting so annoyed, and my mom kind of knew something was up because I was just like, I don't care if they're coming, give me my presents, let me leave, because I had a date with a bottle, like, you know how that is when your mind's made up, like you've been waiting all day, it's been in your trunk all day, you just can't wait, and now let's go, and you're feeling like crap, and that's the only way I knew how to get rid of this crap feeling that I'm feeling, this anxiety, this depression, which of course alcohol does not help that. It'll numb something for a minute, but in the end, it makes everything completely worse. And especially for the fact that when I start drinking, I cannot stop. It doesn't matter if I haven't drank in 2 months, 6 months, 4 years. If I start drinking, I will not be able to stop.
Yeah.
And that is something that I've come to terms with, and I've accepted that. And that's why I choose now not to drink, because it just destroyed my life and almost killed me. And now I have a beautiful wife. I have a cool company. I got a podcast. I talk to my mom, on the podcast. My Aunt Barb listens. Your mom still doesn't listen, but there's a few people that do listen, and we do appreciate that. And we get emails from people, and you guys share it on Facebook and stuff. It really does mean a lot, But at the end of the day, I do the podcast for myself as a way to get things off my chest, and I hope that somebody listening, maybe it's a family member or somebody in early recovery, if you can get something or take something away, and then that's great too. But I'm doing this, just for me as another tool that I use to stay sober. So
yeah, for sure.
Just be careful. And if you're a family member who has someone in recovery, like if it's heroin or meth, you probably don't have to hide the drugs around the corner. Mm-hmm. But it really was awkward. Like, it would have been a lot easier or better if my brother, and that's the thing, like when my grandma was alive, like nobody drank at Christmas. And then like my grandma passed, and then it's like my brother was like, let's drink at Christmas. And he's a grown ass man. He can if he wants. Now I don't think he does. I don't think anybody does anymore, mm-hmm. But it was just one of those things that he thought, hey, it's my house. I can have a beer. I can, unwind. But I think he realizes now, like he doesn't need that. But if they would have came to me and said, hey, look, we're going to have some beers here. Hope that doesn't mind. And maybe they did. And I said, yeah, it doesn't bother me. But when they were like all like shocked, trying to hide it from me, that's what like kind of hurt me a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, I felt like less than, and like, oh, everybody was saying, oh, hide these from Corey, because if he sees our beer, he's going to go gull them on us and drink it all up.
And the thing is, too, is I've always thought about, like, kind of like playing the what if game, and because situations like that, regardless of how long you've been sober, I mean, maybe the response wouldn't be the same because your family was like, Corey's just newly sober. Like, I feel really uncomfortable. Like, we have family members that drink around us now.
Yeah.
And they don't really, I mean, I think there's maybe somewhere in their head, like, I wonder if this makes them uncomfortable. Like, my sister was pouring wine the other day when we walked in. I noticed it because I notice everything that has to do with alcohol. But, I'm just thinking of and she was just like, oh, hey. But, I mean, she still poured it in a wine glass, like, opposed to, like, pouring it in something else. Like, They start to be the ones that are hiding stuff because they don't want to make us uncomfortable, when really, in reality, like you were saying, sometimes those situations make it more uncomfortable. But in reality, I mean, just, you need to get it out of your head. Could you have responded differently at that time? Obviously not, because that's kind of where you were at in your recovery. Mm-hmm. But, embrace that it's Christmas. Enjoy the people that you're around. It's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. And if you're comfortable enough to, like, freaking call a spade, right? Like, hey, that doesn't bother me. You guys are good. Don't worry about it. I can handle you drinking a beer. Or if you can't, be like, I think I need to leave. Like, this is a little bit too much for me. Mm-hmm. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your recovery. And those people, regardless, I mean, there's going to be the a-holes, right? Or, there always is, who don't give any consideration to how you feel or how anybody feels, for that matter. But for the most part, people are super supportive, and sometimes they just don't know how to handle themselves. And so, own your recovery, be grateful for yourself, be proud of yourself, and enjoy your Christmas.
Yeah, don't let the cousin of yours or uncle or whoever is going to because there are people that'll sneak you away and be like, hey man, here's a flask. You can just take a shot, man. Nobody's going to know. You damn well know that's not going to work out well. Because when you leave, you're on a mission. Because once you get that taste, you can't stop, So don't get sucked into that. Just say, no, I don't drink. And be grateful that you don't drink. Be grateful that you don't have to live that life anymore. And that's how I kind of look at it. I noticed your sister pouring that thing too. And it just, I don't know, I noticed it, but it didn't I wasn't like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like early on, it probably would have been like, oh my God, But some people can drink like that. I just can't.
Yeah.
And I've come to terms with it. But yeah, have a good Christmas though. Do what you need to do, to protect your sobriety, and don't get fooled by people. If, like I said, that cousin's like, hey man, come on, let's go in the garage, man. Here, smoke this joint now. It's not alcohol. Be very careful, because your brain will realize, oh, okay, I don't like being high. I like being drunk. Maybe I'll smoke a little bit and then drink a little bit. That's not going to work out for you.
That's the big thing now. That's where I've noticed, or have had experience with clients, is like, yeah, my aunt or whatever, or my sister, let me hit their vape, or,
their weed vape.
And so now it's like, either you're off to the races, or that's lingering, and it's like, bothersome, and, it weighs on you.
Yeah, because once you get a heroin addiction, a meth addiction, alcohol addiction, if you just have a weed addiction, you probably just be fine just smoking weed. But then again, you should be careful, because that is very addictive, and that can be bad, But once your brain is locked onto that alcohol or that heroin or that meth, that is your DOC. That's your drug of choice. So you try to substitute something with that, your brain's going to go, yeah, okay, okay, I feel high, I feel stoned, but that's not what I want. And it'll start making excuses for you to make that a great idea. Well, yeah, and that's what happened to me. I'll just smoke a bowl, and then I'll get a half a pint. How about that? And then that quickly, the next day, turned into, well, let me just get a whole pint then, because I might not have to come back to the store the next day. And then I'm trading the bag for a fifth of, I'm just like, hey man, you can have the rest of this weed, bring me over a fifth, and off, and there I go. So be very, 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 very careful with that. And I thought I had figured it out. I thought I had found the solution. I was like, I'm just going to smoke weed because I don't like mixing the two. No, and everybody told me it wasn't going to work. I didn't listen, of course, because, well, I had to figure it out myself, like we all have to. But be good and have a Merry Christmas. We'll probably talk to you again at some point. I brought all the podcasting stuff with, so we'll have to figure that out at some point.
All right.
We'll do a family podcast.
Well, that'll be fun.
See if we can get my mom on. She can tell me how wrong I am about every story I tell.
Oh, my God.
Just kidding, Mother. I love you. I can't wait to see everybody. And, yeah, have a very, very Merry Christmas and be safe.
Bye, everybody.